Is there a difference between the term unbeliever and disbeliever? In my humble understanding, an unbeliever is someone who may not be aware of something, so he doesn't believe in it. He's never known or heard, so he's unbeliever. He's not exposed to it. Whereas a disbeliever seems to indicate that someone has been exposed to certain truth or information, and then he deliberately rejected it. And that's why sometimes the Quran uses the term kafaru, verb, in an active verb form. Know something, but reject it. It is truth, but I'm not going to accept it. All right. That distinction then raises another issue. Is it possible that a person who is, from an Islamic perspective, an unbeliever, will be forgiven by Allah? The answer does not come in an opinion. You go to the Quran in Surah Al-Isra, Surah 17, in Ayah 15. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Allah says in the Quran, we will not punish until we have sent a messenger. So a person who was not exposed to the message, did not know about the message, is not to be condemned, and it's not our job to condemn. It is left to God to judge that person in accordance with what he knew about the truth, and whether he rejected it out of pride or whatever, or he didn't know or didn't fully understand it. That's a misplaced I. Okay. The third one. Okay. Go back to space. Some non-Muslims, some say, all right, admittedly, not all those who did not accept Islam are disbelievers, some are unbelievers, they don't know. But they say, well, but some people have been exposed to the message of Islam. So at least some of them who willingly rejected it and did not accept the final prophet and final scripture as you Muslims understand it, are to be classified as disbeliever according to your own definitions. What do you say about that? But the question here, when you use the term disbeliever, disbeliever in what? Are Jews and Christians disbelievers in God or revelation? The answer was given early in chapter 29 or Surah 29 in the Quran. Do Jews and Christians reject the basic generic teaching of God that was revealed to all of the prophets? The answer is no. In fact, the Quran says that all prophets were Muslims. And in fact, the ayah that was recited earlier, وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, don't die except in the state of Islam. Actually, it could also be translated, don't die except in the state of submission to Allah, because that's what the generic meaning of the term Islam means, to achieve peace with God, within oneself, with the creation of God, whether humans, animals, vegetation, or ecology, through submission, willing submission to God. We cannot interpret the word Islam always to mean only the community that follows Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This is the last form of Islam. But generic Islam, as the Quran indicates, has been the teaching and message of all of the prophets. We cannot say that people of the book are disbeliever in that core message of God or the basic moral teaching taught by all of the prophets. What are they disbelievers then? What did they disbelieve or reject? They disbelieve in the finality of the mission of Prophet Muhammad and the Quran as the last revelation of Allah. But could that be regarded really as a derogatory term, really, that someone does not disbelieve? Well, every human being believes in something, disbelieves in something based on his own conscience. We are not to hold people accountable here. So even if you say they're disbeliever, all right, theologically, that's fine. But in terms of ultimate consequence for that, it's not up to you or me to mistreat them in this life here. This is the function of God. And let us remember again, those who say, yes, but many Jews and Christians know about Islam and read about Islam. But let me ask you this. How about if they read about Islam from books written by people with an agenda? People who wrote actually to blemish the image of Islam, and they thought with all sincerity that this is the correct knowledge of Islam, this is Professor so-and-so, this is Dr. so-and-so, they didn't realize how erroneous the information is. Who are we to judge whether they really get the true picture and message of Islam and the liberty? But even if they did, it's not our function to hold them accountable for that.